If you're over 60, I need you to hear this. Every bite you take, every food you trust, even the vegetables you've believed were good for your heart, might be quietly damaging it. I know that sounds shocking, but after decades of treating seniors with heart failure, arrhythmias, and strokes, I've seen a disturbing pattern. Many of the most common vegetables we think are helping are actually working against us, especially if you're on heart medications or living with high blood pressure. You may be doing everything right, eating more greens, avoiding fried foods, walking daily. But if you're still including certain vegetables in your meals without knowing the risks, you could be making your heart work harder than it should. And the worst part, the damage is often silent, invisible, until it's too late. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 vegetables that older adults should stop eating or drastically change how they're prepared. Because some foods don't hurt with a punch, they do it slowly, quietly, over time. Stay with me, because what you learn in the next few minutes could protect the very heartbeat you've counted on your whole life. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Spinach. When a superfood turns against your heart. You've spent your life believing that spinach was one of the healthiest choices you could put on your plate. After all, it's green, leafy, and packed with nutrients. You've likely heard it lowers cholesterol, fights inflammation, and supports bone health. And for many people, that's true. But after age 60, the way your body reacts to even the healthiest foods can dramatically change, and spinach can quietly become a silent saboteur of your heart. Here's the painful truth. Spinach is extremely high in vitamin K, a nutrient essential for blood clotting. That might sound like a good thing until you realize what it means for your medications. If you're like millions of older Americans, you may be on blood thinners like warfarin, Coumadin, prescribed after a heart attack, stroke, or to prevent atrial fibrillation. These medications work by reducing your blood's ability to clot, which is what helps prevent deadly clots from forming and traveling to your brain or lungs. But when you eat spinach, especially in large amounts or inconsistently, vitamin K can override that medication's effect. The result? Your blood may clot too quickly, even while you think you're protected. This isn't just a theory. In my practice, I've seen patients suffer mini strokes, deep vein thrombosis, and even emergency hospitalizations, all while proudly sipping green smoothies or eating spinach salads every day. They had no idea the very food they believed was healing them was undoing the work of their life-saving medications. And the danger doesn't always come with warning signs. There's no immediate pain, no alert that something's wrong. You feel fine until you're not. And by then, it may be too late. The issue isn't spinach itself, it's inconsistency and lack of communication with your doctor. Your medication dose is carefully calibrated, and a sudden spike in vitamin K from spinach can throw it completely off balance. If you're going to eat spinach, do it in moderation and do it consistently. Don't switch from no spinach to spinach every day without letting your doctor know. Together, you can adjust your medication or recommend safer alternatives. Because at this age, what once helped your heart can now quietly hurt it. And that shift is something most seniors are never told about until they've already paid the price. Now, if spinach, the poster child of healthy eating, can betray your heart without you even realizing it, what other vegetables might be silently tightening the noose around your arteries, one bite at a time? Let's talk about the next one, hiding in plain sight in your fridge, and it's loaded with more salt than a bag of chips. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Pickled cucumbers, the salty trap that's tightening around your heart. They seem harmless. Just a few slices of pickles next to your sandwich, a familiar tang that reminds you of summer picnics, diners, or the homemade jars from your childhood kitchen. For many seniors, pickled cucumbers feel like comfort food, refreshing, crunchy, even healthy because, well, it's still a vegetable. But what if I told you those few green slices could be quietly pushing your blood pressure higher and higher, squeezing your heart with every bite, without you ever feeling a thing? You see, pickles are soaked in salt, often without us realizing just how much. One serving, just 2 or 3 spears, can pack up to 1,000 milligrams of sodium. For someone over 60, that's nearly 2/3 of the recommended daily limit. And that's just from one snack. Now imagine you add a can of soup or a frozen meal later in the day. Before dinner's even started, you've already overloaded your system with sodium, and your heart is the one paying the price. As we age, our kidneys lose their efficiency. They can't flush out excess salt the way they once did. That salt stays in your bloodstream, holding onto water like a sponge, expanding your blood volume, and putting dangerous pressure on your arteries. This pressure doesn't feel like a heart attack. Not at first. It shows up slowly: headaches, fatigue, shortness of breath. And then, one day, it's a stroke or heart failure. I've seen it firsthand. Patients who thought they were doing everything right. They gave up fried foods, they took their medications, they even exercised, but their blood pressure wouldn't go down. And when we finally looked closer, it was the pickles. A small pile on their plate, day after day, was silently sabotaging all their hard work. Here's the terrifying part: salt damage is invisible until it's not. You don't see it, you don't feel it until your doctor sees your swollen heart on an echocardiogram or until you collapse from congestive heart failure. If you're over 60, this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. You've worked too hard for too many years to let a few bites of something seemingly innocent undo it all. So, what can you do? Read labels. Cook at home when you can. Season with herbs, lemon, garlic, not salt. And most importantly, don't assume that because something was part of your past, it's still safe for your present. Your heart has different needs now, and it's begging you to listen. Because if salt can sneak into your bloodstream through something as simple as a pickle, what happens when the very ingredient that gives your food its kick starts kicking back against your heart? Let's talk about that next. It's fiery, familiar, and more dangerous than you think. 3. Red chili peppers, the fiery ingredient that's fueling your heart's downfall. For many older adults, food isn't just about nutrition, it's about memory. That spicy chili in your stew, it might remind you of your mother's cooking, your hometown, or your younger years when you could handle anything on your plate. And for some, that fiery kick brings comfort, flavor, even a sense of youth. But what your heart experiences when you eat red chili peppers, especially as you age, isn't comfort, it's chaos. Here's what happens behind the scenes. Red chili peppers, particularly the hot concentrated varieties, contain a compound called capsaicin. It's what gives them their heat, and it's what triggers your body's stress response. When you eat spicy food, your nervous system reacts almost like it's under threat. Your heart rate increases, your blood vessels constrict, adrenaline surges. For a younger person with flexible arteries and a strong heart, this reaction might go unnoticed. But after 60, when arteries are stiffened by age and the heart is more fragile, that fiery meal can act like a match dropped into dry grass. In my years of clinical practice, I've seen older patients come in with heart palpitations, tightness in their chest, spikes in blood pressure, all within hours of eating something spicy. They never connected the dots. To them, it was just a harmless bowl of chili. But inside, their cardiovascular system was under assault. Worse yet, chronic exposure to spicy foods can cause long-term inflammation in the blood vessels. This inflammation erodes the inner lining of your arteries, where plaque forms and where blockages begin. You might feel fine. You might even enjoy the rush, but your heart is quietly suffering under the pressure. The danger isn't in one spicy meal. It's in the repeated hits. That regular dose of capsaicin continues to stress your heart, day after day, year after year. And while the damage builds in silence, the end is loud: a hypertensive crisis, an arrhythmia, a sudden cardiac event. You won't always get a warning. So what can you do? You don't have to give up flavor. There are gentler ways to season your meals, like garlic, cooked, ginger, turmeric, or lemon zest. These add depth without setting off alarm bells in your cardiovascular system. Because at this age, your heart doesn't need fire. It needs calm, consistent support. And if spice can spark a storm in your chest, what happens when something even more heart-healthy, something used for centuries as a remedy, starts working against you silently from the inside out? Let's talk about that next. It's natural, it's powerful, and when taken the wrong way, it can be dangerous. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Raw garlic, when nature's medicine turns against your heart. For decades, you've probably heard it: garlic is a miracle, and in many ways it is. Raw garlic has been praised in cultures across the world for its powerful ability to lower cholesterol, fight infection, and thin the blood. You may have even taken cloves of it raw, on an empty stomach, as a natural remedy. But what most seniors are never told is that the very quality that makes garlic powerful also makes it dangerous, especially after age 60, and especially when you're on heart medications. Raw garlic is a natural anticoagulant. That means it thins the blood, just like the medications so many older Americans are already prescribed: aspirin, warfarin, Plavix, Eliquis. These drugs are critical to prevent blood clots, heart attacks, and strokes. But when combined with raw garlic, especially in large or repeated doses, they can thin the blood too much. Suddenly, what was once protective becomes a ticking time bomb inside your own body. I've seen patients come in confused, frightened. They had bruises they couldn't explain, bleeding gums, nosebleeds that wouldn't stop. One patient passed out at home. Her blood pressure had dropped dangerously low. The cause? She had been swallowing raw garlic daily for heart health, not knowing she was intensifying her blood-thinning medication to the point of risk. And this danger doesn't stop at bleeding. Raw garlic can lower your blood pressure abruptly, which might sound like a good thing, but if you're already on hypertension medications, it can send your pressure spiraling too low. That drop can cause lightheadedness, falls, fainting, or worse. A sudden reduction in blood flow to the heart or brain, triggering a crisis you won't see coming. The heartbreaking part is, these seniors weren't doing anything reckless. They were trying to take care of themselves, but they didn't know that the aging body processes foods and medicines differently. Your liver is slower, your blood vessels more fragile, your buffer for error smaller, and garlic, raw and unfiltered, doesn't come with dosage instructions. If you enjoy garlic, you don't have to abandon it entirely, but cook it lightly. That softens its potency while preserving much of its benefit. And before you make garlic a part of your daily self-care, talk to your doctor. They can guide you based on your medications, your health, your body's needs, not folklore. Because nature can heal, yes, but it can also harm if we use it blindly. And if even something as revered and natural as garlic can silently set your heart at risk. What happens when you're eating something that looks fresh, clean, and full of life, yet might be carrying a deadly secret you can't see with your eyes? Let's look closer at what's hiding inside those healthy raw sprouts. You might never look at them the same way again. 5. Raw sprouts, the innocent crunch that could break a senior's heart. They look so clean, so vibrant, so full of life. You toss a handful of raw sprouts, alfalfa, mung bean, clover, onto your sandwich or salad, thinking you're making a smart, heart-healthy choice. After all, they're light, low-calorie, full of enzymes. But behind that crisp, innocent bite lies a quiet threat that too many seniors are never warned about, a threat that could send you straight to the emergency room. Here's what most people don't know. Raw sprouts are grown in warm, moist environments, exactly the conditions that deadly bacteria like E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria thrive in. To a healthy young adult, these bacteria might just cause a rough day or two of stomach upset. But for someone over 60, with a weakened immune system and perhaps a history of heart disease, these microbes can cause life-threatening complications. An infection that starts in your gut can spread fast. It can lead to sepsis, dehydration, or even infect the lining of your heart, a condition called endocarditis, which is often fatal in seniors. I've seen patients whose heart failure worsened, whose arrhythmias spiraled out of control, all because of something as small and seemingly fresh as a handful of raw sprouts. What makes this more terrifying is that you never see it coming. There are no signs that those sprouts on your plate are contaminated. You eat them raw, because that's how they're marketed. And within hours or days, your body is fighting an invisible war it may not be strong enough to win. So please, if you enjoy sprouts, never eat them raw. A quick saute or steam can destroy harmful bacteria without sacrificing all the nutrients. Your heart, already working overtime as you age, doesn't need to be battling infection on top of everything else. Because if something as fresh and healthy looking as a raw sprout can harbor such silent danger, what about the vegetables that only become harmful when mixed with the medications you rely on to stay alive? You might be surprised by what's sitting on your dinner plate right now. Let's take a closer look. 6. When vegetables and medications clash, the hidden interactions that could be harming your heart. You've done everything right. You've taken your medications, watched your diet, and tried to choose healthy, wholesome foods, especially vegetables. But what most seniors are never told is that some vegetables can interact dangerously with the very medications keeping your heart alive. And the most terrifying part, you won't feel it happening. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to what we put in them. The liver and kidneys process food and medicine more slowly. A vegetable that was once harmless, or even helpful, can suddenly change the way your prescription drugs work. Some vegetables are rich in natural compounds that block drug absorption, amplify their effects, or cancel them out completely. And when that happens inside an aging body, it can be devastating. Take grapefruit, for instance. Yes, it's a fruit, but it's the classic example. It can block enzymes in your liver, causing your medications to build up to toxic levels. But it's not just grapefruit. Cruciferous vegetables like kale, broccoli, or Brussels sprouts, when eaten in excess, can impact how blood thinners like warfarin work, making your blood dangerously thin or thick. Your risk of stroke or internal bleeding rises, not because you missed a dose, but because you tried to eat healthy. I've seen it again and again. Patients confused, even heartbroken, wondering how a salad could lead to a hospitalization. But it's not the vegetable. It's the combination, food and drug, interacting silently in the bloodstream, unseen and unmonitored. The truth is, not every heart-healthy food is heart-safe for everyone. Your medication, your diet, and your age create a fragile balance, one that requires coordination, not assumptions. That's why every dietary change, especially after 60, should be shared with your doctor or pharmacist. You're not just feeding your body anymore, you're feeding a system that includes medications, aging organs, and delicate rhythms that can be thrown off by even the cleanest bite. Because even the healthiest food can turn deadly when it meets the wrong medicine. And if you think you know your plate well enough by now, there's one more vegetable you might be eating that seems completely harmless until you discover the hidden strain it's putting on your heart every single day. Let's uncover it next. 7. Overcooked or canned vegetables. When convenience slowly damages your heart. They sit quietly in your pantry. Canned green beans, microwavable mixed veggies, frozen entrees with garden fresh on the label. At first glance, they seem like a smart choice, quick, easy, and better than fast food. But for millions of seniors, these over-processed vegetables are a silent threat, slowly wearing down the heart with every bite. The danger isn't the vegetables themselves, it's what's been added and what's been stripped away. To survive shelf life, these products are loaded with sodium, preservatives, artificial flavorings, and in some cases, chemical stabilizers that your aging body is no longer equipped to handle. That harmless canned corn may have more sodium than a bag of potato chips. That frozen stir fry, packed with hidden sugars and flavor enhancers that keep your blood pressure elevated long after the meal is over. And here's the cruel part. These foods are marketed directly to older adults. Labels say heart smart, lightly salted, or low cal. But those claims hide the reality of what they're doing inside your arteries. Sodium increases fluid retention. Chemical additives strain your liver. Lack of fiber and nutrients means your blood vessels aren't getting what they need to stay elastic and clear. I've seen patients who thought they were eating healthy, only to show up with unexplained weight gain, rising blood pressure, fatigue, or even congestive heart failure, all while eating vegetables every day. As we age, the margin for error gets smaller. Your heart doesn't need convenience, it needs nourishment. Whole cooked vegetables, meals prepared at home, ingredients you can pronounce. That's the kind of food your heart recognizes and your body can heal from. Because it's not just what's in your food, it's what's been done to it. And that truth can be the difference between surviving and truly living. And now that you know which vegetables may be quietly harming your heart, what can you eat instead, every day, simply and safely, to actually strengthen it? Let's talk about the foods that truly love your heart back. In the final message, what you eat after 60 could be slowly breaking your heart without you knowing it. At this stage in life, you've likely worked hard to make better choices, eating more vegetables, cutting sugar, avoiding fried foods. But what most seniors are never told is that some of the very foods you trust as heart healthy may quietly be causing more harm than good. Spinach, for example, is praised as a superfood, but if you're on blood thinners, its high vitamin K content can interfere with your medication, putting you at risk for dangerous clots. Pickled cucumbers? A few bites may seem harmless, but the hidden salt load can raise your blood pressure and overwork your aging heart. Red chili peppers, so full of flavor and memory, can trigger spikes in heart rate and blood pressure, especially in a heart that's more fragile now. Then there's raw garlic, long trusted for its healing power. But when paired with medications, it can thin your blood too much, risking internal bleeding. Even raw sprouts, which appear fresh and pure, may carry bacteria that your older immune system can no longer fight, possibly leading to infections that damage the heart itself. What's more alarming are the hidden clashes between vegetables and medications, like kale or grapefruit, disrupting how your body absorbs life saving drugs. And the final insult: overcooked or canned vegetables, stripped of nutrients and overloaded with sodium, offer false comfort while silently straining your cardiovascular system. You've come too far in life to be blindsided by foods pretending to be your friend. Because at this age, your heart doesn't just need food, it needs the right kind, in the right form, at the right time. The good news? It's not too late. Every small choice you make starting today, every bite, every meal, can begin to restore, protect, and strengthen the heart that's carried you through a lifetime. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.